Hello, 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 friends, and welcome back to another episode of Fit Chicks Unfiltered. I'm your host, Ashley.
And I'm Callie.
And we are back again with another episode. We really hope you all enjoyed the intuitive eating episode and some of our others in the back end, right? We've got a lot of really good stuff that we recorded in 2025. So if you're new to us, go take a look at our little podcast library that we're building up.
It's great for if you're commuting to work and you are bored of listening to the same playlist over and over, or same thing but on the treadmill, whatever it may be. Give it a listen.
My sister thinks I'm a psychopath for listening to podcasts while I'm lifting. It's one of my favorite things to do, though.
No, I like it. Yeah.
I like it too.
That's like two things at once. You're learning and getting scroll.
Yeah, like, I feel like, I don't know, she's just like, I just really need music to motivate me. I'm like, no, I get that, but I also just love a good podcast. I don't know.
Same.
Teach his own, right? So today we have a interesting topic, a good topic. We're just going to get right into it. It's the title of this episode, Why Perfectionism is Killing Your Progress. Babe, it's never going to look perfect. Ever.
No, straight up. If you're going for perfect, you're already setting yourself up for failure.
And the thing is like, whether it's weight loss, whether it's business building, whether it's chasing your content creator dreams, whether it's finding the perfect partner, we have this idea of what we want in our heads, and we have this way of putting ourselves in freeze mode until every single box is checked. And it's going to look messy and it's going to look raw, your journey to wherever it is you're looking to go. And we'll keep this kind of in the wellness space, but the wellness space is all of it, right? Like, I can't move. I can't buy a house until I have $100,000 in my savings account. Well, are you sick of where you're living now? And are you close? Maybe you should just fuck around and find out.
And also, too, if you're an overthinker like myself, it's going to keep you, if you're aiming for perfectionism, it's going to keep you in this state of overthinking instead of just like doing.
Right. And in the realm of wellness and weight loss and muscle building and building up habits and rituals around the gym and staying consistent with your food, you know, I think we see a lot of this with the whole, I'm going to throw out all my shitty food and I'm going to go to the grocery store on Sunday and I'm going to buy all this really good food and I'm going to be great for a week. And then I'm going to get sick of this food and then I'm not going to eat it. And now it's not perfect anymore. So now I am just going to be off plan for the next 4 days until I feel so guilty that I'm going to try again. And I say that from experience, friends.
Yeah, you sounded like you said that directly from like a little spot in your mind right here.
100%. You know, this idea of like, I have to have perfect, I can't start my quote diet, even though we really try to stay away from that word here, but I know that you guys understand what we're getting at, until I have the perfect food, until I have the perfect recipes, until I have every single ingredient from that TikTok creator. I'm just ragging on TikTok today, but my issue with TikTok is just, there's just so much overstimulation and so much noise there, and all people do is just save stuff. And I hate the meal prep on TikTok because it makes it look like you have to have these Tupperware bowls.
This gorgeous presentation.
Yes.
And you have to have the, what is it, ASMR?
The ASMR.
The popping of the lids and everything.
Yes.
You're like, oh my God.
And you have to have the little mini containers for your dressing. And you have to
It doesn't have to be that cute. Just freaking do it.
Perfectionism is killing your progress. If you don't go get yourself some Tupperware from the dollar store down the street and call it a day, like if that's what it is, then that's what it is. Like, we have to understand where we are in life and where we're looking to go, and we have to want it more than anything. We have to get there, right?
Yeah, and it creates like that all or nothing cycle. And also, let's not forget that like perfectionism is a form of self-sabotage. There are so many different forms of self-sabotage, but it really is, because you start on this journey, you watch the TikTok videos, you bookmark them, you get the Tupperware, you do the thing, and then you do it for a week and you start to have that self-sabotaging talk creep in where you're like, oh well, I forgot to put it all in the Tupperware, so like it's I guess this is screwed for this week. So then you start introducing these thoughts of like, well, I'm not doing it good enough. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I do deserve a break. Maybe I need to do something else. So then you completely throw away the whole plan. You bought the Tupperware for nothing. You meal prepped for nothing. You've recycled, and then you feel this huge, immense piece of shame that you just wanted to be perfect, and you're not perfect, and you're so problematic, and you're not where you want to be, that you feel horrible about yourself. And then after that, one day you find another TikTok video that inspires you to buy new Tupperware and start the whole thing over again. And that is a vicious cycle that people get stuck in.
It is. And I think it's important to understand that it's okay to move with what you have. It's not about having the perfect gym fit. It's not about even, going to the gym and knowing exactly what you need to do. If you just need to get your ass in the gym and get your body moving, then that's what needs to happen. Just go and move your body. The rest will come over time. None of this is perfect, and none of this is going to be perfectly curated. A lot of this whole wellness journey is learning through action. That's what a lot of it is. Your example made me think about when you make the fancy high protein meal that you saw on TikTok and it doesn't come out anything like what the creators did, and it's nasty and gross, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to go to McDonald's. And then you're set back again.
Yeah.
You're set back again.
And then what happens is like you trigger a burnout.
Yeah. Yeah. You trigger
and then you try to hit it 100%. Yeah, you're like, I have to have 100% compliance 24/7, or like, and that's not going to work. Like, you do have to show up. It might be 100% one day. It might be 130% another day. It may be 25% the next, but you're showing up, you're doing the things. It doesn't have to be perfect, because otherwise it's going to lead to you being mentally exhausted. You're going to start resenting fitness and health, and you're just going to say, screw it, I don't deserve this. And then it's just going to allow you to be okay with cycles of quitting and restarting and quitting and restarting. And guess what? That bleeds into every area of your life.
Sure does. One thing I love to tell my classes when I'm teaching them, and because this is something that I tell myself, we keep the promises that we make to ourselves. And we have to keep those promises whether or not it looks perfect. Because when we do not keep the promises that we make to ourselves, we are subconsciously telling ourselves that we are not reliable. And when we're telling ourselves that we are not reliable, we don't have anywhere else to go then. That leads into telling ourselves that we fail. We start and we stop. That this is normal behavior and this is just what it is. And that's what we can expect from ourselves, to start and then stop. And then the cycle repeats on that negative feedback loop over and over again. And your job, dear one listening, is to stop that motherfucking cycle. So how do you stop the cycle? Stop trying to be perfect. If the goal was to walk into the gym, your only promise is to walk into that gym. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to walk into the gym, I'm going to hit the craziest fucking leg day ever, I'm going to be there for 3 hours. Gah! Make feasible promises to yourself. Things that make sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I don't know. I think some people, when they just want to do it, and they want to do it right, and they want to do it well, right? They want to give their all. Maybe you just hired a really expensive coach and you're like, I've got to do it. But you need to redefine what doing it looks like. That, like I just said, it's not going to mean like every single box is ticked perfectly. But it is okay to also be like, I'm going to drink water today. I'm going to hit my protein. I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe it's not excellent and it's not your best leg day ever, but you're still doing it. So like, reshape the way you allow yourself to show up for yourself. It doesn't mean all or nothing.
Exactly. And I think you hit the nail on the head with something really important. Something is better than nothing, right? The title of this episode, Why Perfectionism is Killing Your Progress. Baby, we're only looking to make progress. That's it. We're not looking to heal cancer. We're not looking for some miraculous thing. We're looking for just some sort of progress. there were so many moments in my fitness journey and even now where I just need to remind myself, what can I do today to drive the needle forward? Maybe I can't do everything on my checklist, but what is one thing I can do today? Maybe that's just eating clean. Maybe I can't get to the gym. Maybe I can't hit my 10K steps. Maybe my husband's really needing attention that day, whatever it is, right? But maybe I can just make sure that I am eating with intention and really following my meal plan to a T. Right. Maybe it's just making sure I'm getting a gallon of water in. Maybe it's just making sure I'm getting 8 hours of sleep in, right? It's about these tiny little things that drive the needle forward over the course of long periods of time that create long-term success, not perfectionism.
100%. 100%. And if you think about it, like with what Ashley just said, like what happens is you're still way ahead of where you were when you started.
Yes. We forget that all the time, right?
Yeah, so like you're still improving, you're still making progress, you're still getting better. Like, yeah.
We're hard on ourselves. And I think that's important to know. I think what people need to realize is like the act of even listening to this podcast is making you a better version of yourself. That you could be listening to fucking true crime. You could be listening to reality TV gossip. You could be listening to something that just rots your brain. But you're choosing to listen to something that's going to help improve your day-to-day. Everything can be a win. And I think we need to realize that. And I mean, not to get on TikTok again, but just to get on social media as a whole, a lot of these creators don't do us any favors when it's like, spend the day with me. And they're like waking up like babies. I hope you guys realize they set that shot up. They already woke up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's so true.
Oh my God. And I mean, it's a job. It's a job. What they're doing is a job. And I just want, viewers of content, and maybe I'm so passionate about it because like we both are content creators. I'm ragging on myself too. Like I'm telling you guys, it is a job. And there is a method to what sells and what doesn't, and people got to pay their bills, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's important for you as the consumer to understand that that is a job, and your life does not have to look like that, and 9 times out of 10 their life doesn't look like that,
or at least it doesn't every single day. Maybe some days they hit it and some days they don't, which is exactly what we're saying you have to allow yourself to do. Be okay with having some days that might look like that and some days that don't, but like you have to define what that is. And I think too, like you have to watch out with perfectionism because it can turn discipline in almost to like self-punishment.
Toxicity,
instead of being like, instead of like I move because right now I'm really trying to respect my body, it might turn into I train because I actually hate my body. So like you keep enforcing that you're failing because you're not hitting it perfectly. And obviously we're not in the space of like training because we hate our bodies. It's because we respect our body.
And we love our bodies. And that takes a while too. The act of loving your body for a lot of people, of just loving the skin that you're in. And I think there's something to be said about what perfectionism means for people and what it looks like and where it comes from. I mean, not to put my spiritual hat on, but you really have to think about that. If you're a perfectionist listening, where does that come from? That comes from the idea of wanting to do well, of wanting praise. Strong opinion here, but I think perfectionism is a lot more about you wanting validation than anything else. You want to be told you're doing a good job. You want a pat on the back. You want people to see that you're doing great, because if that weren't the case, then whether you had a Tupperware from the dollar store or like a Pyrex, a glass Pyrex from somebody's Amazon shopping cart, it wouldn't matter. Either way, it's going in your body, And I think we all can suffer from that a little bit. It was interesting. I had somebody ask me the other day, they were like, can we see what you eat in a day? We don't care if it is not pretty. We just want to know. And there was something about that, Callie, that was so fucking freeing. And that's when I had realized I'm being attacked by the social media monster. because there was something that was so freeing about them just being like, we don't care if it's not pretty. Because I don't often show my food because it's not fucking pretty. It's fucking ground beef. Like, we came out, I was eating ground chicken and sweet potato. Like, I'm not putting it on a decorated plate. There's no goddamn edible goddamn flour in the cut. I'm just putting the food in my mouth, bro. Like, that's it.
Which
Some
is what
tuna,
it looks
some
like.
cucumber. That's what it looks like for most people, especially in the bodybuilding world. Like, that's what it looks like for most of us. Got some rice, maybe a little bit of avocado. Nothing about it is like aesthetic.
And most of the time you're meal prepping and you gotta pull that out the freezer or the fridge or wherever you stored it. Like, yeah. Unless you have the time to be a live-in chef all the time and curate these beautiful plates.
And honestly, I don't care that much to curate these beautiful plates. Just put the food in my mouth, please. Are the macros right? Is that the right amount of chicken? Bet.
Yeah.
We're good. And, that's what it should be. This idea of being perfect is time consuming and it's so stressful on the brain, And it's like, if we don't want to do this, we don't need to do this. Make your path to success, my friend, as easy as possible, because you already have a lot that you're going to have to work against. You're going to have to figure out how to count macros. You're going to have to figure out what to get when you eat out. You're going to have to figure out how to eat and deal with stress when you realize that you emotionally eat, because more of us emotionally eat than we want to realize. You already have so much that's going to be working against you. The last thing you want to deal with is, how do I make this perfect? And I also think there's this idea deeply seated in here of perfection leads to success. That is not true. And maybe that's an idea that comes from school. I'm thinking the idea of like straight A's. Yeah.
No, that's a good thought right there.
Yeah. That, if I'm perfect, then I'll succeed. And the one thing, that I've learned, and that I think so many of us learn over this journey, is bass backwards. Perfection does not lead to success. Perfection leads to self-sabotage. That's what perfection leads to.
100%.
Because, how long can you keep up the jig? You can't keep it up for that long. Eventually you're going to crash and burn, like you said, leading to burnout. Eventually you're going to be like, F this noise. I'm sick of this. Like, I can't keep up the charade anymore. There was a creator that I'm social media friends with, and she made a post the other day. This was like tea for you guys. She made a post, maybe this was like a week or two ago, and essentially she was like taking off the mask. She's like, I can't do this anymore. She has been in she's at like 40 pounds of regain or something like that, and she's a coach. And, obviously she kept to herself for a while because she was working through the mental of what happened with the regain. But it just made me think, I watch her stories often. She's lost a lot of weight like I have. And so there's a lot of reflection there. And I've been a fan of hers for a while. And I just thought, for weeks now, you've been showing up online, doing the same thing you do every day, talking to the people, when in the cut, you eating your fucking face off. And I don't mean to be crude, friends. I'm just being honest. Like, in the cut, like, you are not practicing what you preach. You are not doing anything. You've been acting like everything's fucking fine. You've been acting like everything is perfect.
Yeah. That doesn't help anyone,
must
and it doesn't
weigh.
Help her.
No, like, how that must weigh on you. Like, God.
That's going to be tough.
I know.
And that's why I'm leaning into like this year, like so much into like just authenticity with anything.
Authenticity, man.
Just, it is what it is. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, it's just me. And this is
it is what it is. And the thing about it is, like, you have to think about it. Well, can you blame her? Your whole brand is made up of what this is, and you're sitting in a space of regain. But to regain 40 pounds in general, you really got to be eating.
Putting the pedal down.
Yeah.
Or potentially not doing it right when you were doing it, to allow yourself to like hold on to so much when you allow yourself to have a treat here and there.
Yeah. Like, what happened? How did we get here? you know. And I mean, speaking super candidly and openly, that's one of my biggest fears is getting fat again. It's one of my biggest fears is regain. It's a fear of mine. And so even if you hit 10, 12, 15, 20 pounds, what is happening internally? And that's why I think, fuck. Hello?
Hi.
I'm out of hotspot data. It looks like it's still recording.
Yeah, I
Can
didn't
you hear
stop
me
it.
okay?
I can hear you okay right now. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let's where did I stop talking? Do you
20. I
remember?
texted it to you.
No, but do you remember what my thought was by chance? I was going on about the regain. Okay,
Gosh, what
I
were
know
you
what we're
saying?
gonna do. I know what we're gonna do. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna tap us back in. So, Jared, I'll send this in the email too, but cut all that out. Okay, we're tapping back in right now. And so I feel like with social media, there is this pressure to be perfect. It's like a pressure cooker at all times, whether you work on social media or you don't work on social media. And I think this wellness area, these wellness goals in general, I think one of the biggest gifts we can give to ourselves is letting go of the perfectionism, is letting go of this idea that we have to be perfect, that things have to work this way, that we have to show up this way for our food, for our workouts, for our relationships, for our financial goals, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how we show up, it's that we show up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, rewiring your mindset to be around like not doing it to prove something, but doing
Yeah,
it to because you know you can, and this you're just
right,
confident in that, and you
right.
love yourself, and it's that simple. You know,
It's that simple.
not that I need to do this because it proves my value.
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true. So I definitely really hope that this was helpful to anybody that's listening. This is a quick gut punch for you all, reality check. And, you know, maybe save this episode. Maybe this is something that you might need every now and again, just as a reminder, especially if you find yourself getting caught in this loop of perfectionism, which it's easy to get caught into. You know, I think Kelly and I have both been quite open and vulnerable about our own issues with perfectionism and trying to get things right and perfect into the T. It's not easy, especially as women identifying individuals. I don't think America has made it easy on us when it comes to this idea of what a perfect woman or a perfect spouse or a perfect mother looks like.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. We've been conditioned, especially as women too, to like have to just be and be perfect and non-complicated and not taking up space and all of these things. We can open a can of worms with that. That bleeds into our psyche in so many different ways, especially when it comes to like the value we allow ourselves to feel for ourselves, and especially when it comes to like doing something for ourselves and creating a goal. So allow yourself to just be, and not do to like prove or gain value, but just do out of like respect, self-love, integrity, the basics that we all grew up learning, you know, outside of what is subconsciously being like forced into our minds.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of the journey, right? The wellness journey that we're all on is getting to this conclusion and realizing that we're not always going to feel this way. Like, we're spouting this stuff off, but it doesn't mean that we're immune to the perfectionism bug. It just means that we have learned how to see it when it's taking over a bit more than the average person, you know? That's all that really means.
Yeah. And I think like something that I want to talk about in this episode as well, which I know we've like talked a lot about, like what, I don't know, the perfectionism being self-sabotage and all those things, but what do you do when you actually notice it? Like, what do you do when you actually, like, how do you take action and have a solution from it? Yeah. And that's also really difficult. I think you have to get to the crux of it all, which is like, why is it so important to be like perfect? Like, why does it have to be an A++? And figure out where the root of that comes from, where it stems from. And that's like a whole, sometimes your heart is blocking behind a brick wall in like a cage with a lock and key that you can't find the real answer to that question. So I definitely recommend, instead of just like repeating the cycle, to try to do some inner self-reflection and open up that guarded space to figure out why everything has to be so perfect, and is that what you're deeming as like value as a human? So I think a lot of times for me, that's what worked for me, was actually getting to that and figuring out that I don't need to prove it because I'm proving my value to everyone. Like, I need to do this with confidence. I need to create that confidence for myself. I need to do this for self-integrity and self-love, and that like if I fail, that's okay. You know, we're out here doing our best and we're trying, and what matters is that I show up for myself in consistency each day, and that doesn't mean like 100% A++ every single day.
Exactly. So true. So true. God, I think that's so important, and that's just something I've had to learn throughout this whole journey. You know, people still think I lost 130 pounds in 6 months. No, baby, almost 6 years. Like, it's not going to be A++ every single day. The journey often looks like this. It doesn't ever look like that, no matter what the goal is, friend. And that's a part of it, and that's the beauty in it. And I think the sooner that we realize that it's okay to just be in it, the quicker we can get to where we're going. I think there's value there. So, yes, friends. Again, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to follow us, support us. A like and subscribe go quite a long way in this social media universe. So if you enjoyed any bit of the episode, please let us know. Comment down below. It really, really helps the algorithm push us out to the people who need us most.
Well said, Ashley. Well said. Tune in.
Thank you. Yeah. And we will see you in the next one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.